So now we be the glad he say the $480 million now see President Bureau winner. My brother, as we dey do this gladdy, nine bumpy, you understand? The U.S. Ambassador. You know, say the current part, the American, you understand? And you don't come out now and say and explain the reason, I mean, let me say reason, the conditions we go make Sierra Leone government, because not to we, that's so they can implicate we. They say Sierra Leone people, now then they thief the money. So it's going to make them give them the money, you understand?
Ambassador, Sierra Leoneans in excitement, the MCC, we finally were looking forward to, we got that. Are you familiar with the timelines and how much longer it's going to take for Sierra Leone to receive the money, especially when the agreement is that Sierra Leone would be investing in the energy sector?
Yeah. So let me say a couple of things. First, the way the MCC process works is that the money will ultimately be made available for projects here in Sierra Leone. We don't write a check and hand it over to the Sierra Leonean government. There'll be a joint implementation unit that's set up that makes the contracting decisions, awards the contracts for the work that needs to be, that's been agreed to be done under the compact, oversees that. The checks go to the contractors who are carrying out the work. So I think that's an important distinction to make. But in terms of timelines, the board has approved the compact. The board now has to notify our Congress of their intent to sign the compact. And Congress has a period of time under which it needs to say yes or no and raise more questions. So we're just at the start of that process. Now that process normally goes relatively quickly. In some cases, Congress has more questions, and I can't predict what Congress will ask or want information on. They have signaled that they wanted very much to see the final report. They've signaled they want to see progress on implementation of the final report of the Election Commission before Congress will say yes to the signature. So we are in the process of notifying them, and we'll see how long Congress decides it wants to take to deliberate over this and ultimately give permission. My hope is that we can close this out certainly as quickly as possible, because I do think Sierra Leone needs the resources, but at the same time, I do think it's important that we have some balance here and we make sure that that report isn't just put on a shelf. So we're going to be looking very carefully to see what happens over the next few weeks in terms of decisions on implementation. Once the compact is signed, there is what they call a pre-implementation period. The government, as you will see when the compact is signed, has agreed to do a number of things that we will help them with that lay the groundwork for the project to be successful. Things like the reform of EDSA, which is going to be absolutely critical for anything in the energy space. There's a number of other things that have to be done in terms of environmental impact studies and other things before we can get to the contracting. Normally, that process, depending on how extensive it is and how quickly the government moves, can take between 6 months and a year before the ground is actually broken on the work. That can be accelerated some, depending on how quickly things can be done and the preconditions can be met. But that's the normal time frame. And then, of course, MCC is a 5-year implementation. So from the point where we begin implementation, there's a 5-year period in which all work needs to be completed. Now, as you know, when you're dealing with large construction projects, those first few years, you don't see quite as much as in the last few years, simply because of how construction works. You have to do the architectural designs, you have to do a lot of the preparation of the ground, so it does take more time before you see the big works coming online. But I would say you're probably looking at having it entirely done within about a 6-year time frame, but you should begin to see some parts of it completed much sooner than that, some as early as year 2 or year 3 of the implementation.
For quick clarification, so we probably may not misquote or misinterpret what you said. You said to observe that the report, the recommendations are not put on a shelf. Does this mean the actions of the MCC going forward on when we start getting access to the money depend on the actions the government would be taking in regards to the recommendations put forward by the Tripartite Committee?
That is certainly what our Congress has signaled to us in preliminary consultations, is that they want to see progress towards implementation of the report. Now, they've not defined what that progress looks like. I wouldn't want to put words in the mouth of my congressional colleagues, since they're an independent branch of government, but they have signaled that they will want to see implementation of the report going forward.
All right. To the report itself now, the MCC itself, that
Yes.
we're looking forward to still as a country with excitement. Oftentimes, what the government deals with is they would get grants and funds and money from international community, but then you would find that the sector they were supposed to implement that money, much change or impact is not tangible, and they still find themselves in sort of a disagreement or stalemate with the public, who would now say, but they had received money for XYZ reason, and some of the things we get sometimes as an excuse or justification for why the situation is the conditionalities that come with these grants, where they would say that the international donors now would want to stipulate how the money is spent, and oftentimes much of it goes back to the contractors that they select. How much of a free will would the government have in implementing the money that MCC would be giving, especially when it's clear it's for energy?
Yeah.
But how much free will would they have to the execution of that resource for the energy sector?
Quite a bit. The way that it is set up, the way MCC operates is different from most other development programs. They will set up here in Sierra Leone what's called the Millennium Challenge account, which will be a local entity that has a board comprising both U.S. and Sierra Leonean representatives, and that entity will direct the implementation. So the government will have its members on the board, MCC will have its members on the board. It's an even number, and they jointly will make decisions about the contracting, about the implementation of the project. So the way that we look at it in terms of contractor selection for MCC is that all of that money should be spent locally. This is not consultancies, this is not people coming in to give advice. That's not what the MCC does. What the MCC does is tangible, on-the-ground construction of infrastructure. That's its comparative advantage. So what you should see is $480 million going to building your energy distribution and transportation network.
Ambassador Hunt, if I am right, the actualization of the MCC money is contingent on the implementation of the recommendations in the tripartite report. But again, the tripartite is a baby of the unity agreement, and over time we've seen the implementation of the resolutions in that agreement. Are you of the firm conviction that yes, indeed Sierra Leoneans, or perhaps the government, will heed to these recommendations and see the implementation of same?
So I obviously do not have a crystal ball, or at least I didn't consult it this morning before coming in. What I would say is that the U.S. government takes what the Sierra Leonean parties tell us at their word until it is shown otherwise. So we have been told by both the government and the APC that they intend to fully implement this report. Until I see that they're not doing that, I will be more than happy to believe that they will do so, and I will continue to work with them to encourage them to do so, provide them the technical support to do so. If at some point we see that the implementation is not happening, then we'll be having a very different conversation. But the way that the MCC is structured, we have to have congressional approval for the signature. Congress has signaled they want to see implementation. Congress did not say they needed to see every recommendation implemented or this percentage or that percentage. What Congress is going to look at is to ensure, when it's asked to approve the signature, that there is progress being made, and sufficient progress so that they can have confidence that the key issues that evolved in 2023 are not going to repeat themselves. We're very concerned, frankly, about making a 6-year commitment to Sierra Leone, having an election coming up in 2028, which would be about midway through that 6-year commitment, and then having a repeat of 2023 and having to say, well, this country's no longer on a democratic trajectory. We have to pause everything. That's a waste of everyone's time and resources. So we want to make sure that when we begin, we're very confident. Obviously, we can't predict everything, but we're very confident that the country will continue on a solid democratic trajectory, which is what the law requires for MCC to implement.
Before the approval of the MCC, there is the gas plant projects by the U.S. Many Sierra Leoneans are misunderstanding the two as we speak, taking into account the bidding process for the former, the gas plants project. Many are thinking it's the dues of the MCC that is currently dripping on the gas plants project. So how will you delink the two?
Yeah, so they're two completely separate things, two completely different U.S. government agencies that are involved, different sets of U.S. government funds. They do not overlap. The 480 is spent by the Millennium Challenge Corporation on the distribution and transportation network of energy per the compact. The 410 million is from the U.S. Development Finance Corporation, and that is going to the private sector that is developing the gas project. So that is not a government project. That's entirely private sector driven. What the Development Finance Corporation has done is essentially serve as the bank to the private sector to finance and to provide investment insurance guarantees for that project. So it's different money, different purpose, different entity that's receiving the money, but it will have also a tremendous impact on the generation of power here in Sierra Leone, which, as we all know, is a very serious problem right now.
Now at least they're still waiting at the cheese. They say, so the money, they know they just give the money like that. Now you talk, so I will this thing. So they say the thing therefore go through process, and the compact team, you understand? Although they're in charge of the compact, you know, if you ask me to compact me, I will block you. Go ask, do I know the tripartite? The time they be fully, when we all take assume. They say they come, do I know they're in charge of the compact, the head of the compact? Now, before they give the money to Sierra Leone, all the mandates when the tripartite committee come out with, they say they for implementer before they give that money. And that money, now the head of the compact, so they in charge of the head of the compact, and that money, the head of the compact, so they are the energy sector. Do I know they in charge of the energy? Because they say this money, now the energy sector, so that Sierra Leone no go get light again. Now they the one put out, you understand? But I they challenge you now. You understand? Before they go deep, if they like, let they go $1 billion to that country. The level where corruption don't sit down in that country. Listen though, the day when they disburse that money, when I not take it, we don't go. Lights go still go on and off. No list waiting you that we say that extra go get nothing. Now, if you as they tell you so now, they don't donate another $90 million. I don't know for waiting for children suffering, blah 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 blah. I don't to read the thing well. The kind of money they donate to that country not for so far. But if you talk, some people they vex because now they're partying in the power. Some people they fit in our opposition. They tweet you know we know all them million dollars. How many salon population and how many million? And they would donate $1 million and people will still suffer in that country. So the ambassador say until they implement all the mandates them where they agree on the tripartite committee, before they disburse the money to the contractors them, when they go they in charge for construct the energy organize another country. Let's just say on one thing, then they give this money. You see this international community, damn hypocritical people. All this one, anytime they go for arrangement, they see the opposition, they watch them corner eye. Then they pretend and make like say they're patriotic. These are just way for delay the system, for let us say no, they're not get fault. Oh, international community is watching my brother, they are not doing fuck all. Nothing they know they do. Then just the delay. Not even that to put attention to now how they will use the money. Because me, I challenge you. If they like, let them donate 2 billion or 500 billion in that country. Light system no go stay steady. If check the how many $1 million Check what in China do. Check what in Arab state don't do. That alone for don't do. For now we get to you renewed brand energy system. If you talk up, they go say this happen. Now we got all the problem in the country. So now so they don't say. Now that will happen before they go now they money. Understand? I come in peace. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Thank you for watching.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Finally, I just sit down at my corner. Now somebody boss me line. They say, you know, see what they happen at Freetown. I say, what they happen at Freetown? It's a 129 years old guy. What they call Charles Blake. Now one of them church guy them. If I call her church around side movie. Also, a lot of my go officer one insult him. They say the guy don't disappear, he don't on the run, people they look for him. I say, eh? So I try for go inside the gist for try for no waiting happen. They say flaming church when on side street. After when they mount CCTV, do other investigation. Now they last they see the guy enter since then he not come again. And they say that flaming church. Some people say they get room for the understand for the put people them. They say some people even say that they suspect one cell they can lock people them they. They say this Charles Blake learn one pastor in computer from where you go pick up in computer and the guy disappear. So they say Sierra Leone police now they try for do some kind of you understand dancing, plating and spoon by the issue. Put away the IG, sir, because I don't change the way now how they talk to her because a lot of people they insult me say why they talk to this person so I don't get manners this particular time. You understand? We don't they get cases of people where they disappear. It will be 10 years, 5 years, 6 years, 1 year, 3 years, 8 years, or even 15 years. But sir, this one are 29 years now, big man. That's for telling una say una for speed up and cases like the wire because you must see that country. Where are they telling una this thing say all these people where they say Fred God do this no pray my brother I don't tell una some of una just left with the way we did so you understand for the moment where una just step out on saint business. But my brother most of the nonsense thing where they happen today in Africa more especially Sierra Leone na religion don't cause am. The evil mind and habits where religious sector don't get in that country. If you talk at this one, go say, why you include all of them? We don't get other nickname for religion. Religion and religion, and so we call them. You understand? They say flaming church. Now that guy last enter, una for scrutinize, screen everybody and try for know whether the particular pastor, would that guy be laying a laptop. Because some of them tell them they happen in advanced cultism. So and I will preach to we. Do not convert the neighbor's property. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Where is the love? If you listen to that song with the Black Eyed Peas sing, it say people killing, people dying, children hurting, hear them crying. Can you practice what you preach? And would you turn in all that cheek? Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. Cause people got me questioning, where is the love? A lot of people in our society, they preach about love. Why did they manifest hatred? So sad. Una buckle up. 29 years old, now he disappear. They say that church last he enter. You see that church, that flaming church on side street. Therefore, screen well. Lord know they say don't get block covenant. You understand? Not all thing for talk, but I just tap you understand. If you watch this video, share it so that the IG will see it. Because a lot of this thing happen, we don't know. We share and now make them see it. You understand? Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Thank you for watching.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
I don't get this complaint a lot, and this video I don't for make long. Most of them don't experience that. They will not only take bus or put them, you know, within Freetown, where they go to the provinces. Then say there are a group of people where they now then car park the day, motor car park the day, where they ask people for money after they don't evangelize. Then they ask people for money. They say they inside bus smack. After they don't preach, they ask people for money. The way the country had so. Just a short question. People say my ask una way they do that day, whether na evangelism una they do or na hustle una the hustle. You understand?
Thank you for watching.
Like, comment, and subscribe.